she used to live in a haunted house. Then she just wanted to drop the subject. When we asked for more details, she got kind of embarrassed and like, oh no, I probably shouldn't have said anything. But you cannot tell a room full of 11 and 12-year-olds that you lived in a house that was haunted and then ended there. So we pestered her till she finally continued. And she said first the layout was kind of weird, that the street level of the house, you go in and it was almost like a basement. It had a rough cement floor and no windows, just the doorway. And they used it as a utility room. It had a big ugly sink and their washer and dryer and this rickety card table that kind of came with the house. But you had to go upstairs to get to the living quarters, and the second floor had the living room, the kitchen, and the bedrooms and all that. So shortly after they moved in, she was home alone, and then she heard these really heavy footsteps on the stairs. And so her husband's a big guy, kind of looks like a Grizzly Adams sort of, well, I guess only the older people like me know who Grizzly Adams is, but you know, and so she went to go greet her husband and looked down in the stairwell and there was nobody there. So kind of scared her a little bit, but she said, okay, it was my imagination. Well, a few days later, he's home alone and he hears these big footsteps just pounding up the stairs, and he figures, wow, she must have bought a lot of groceries, you know, that she's sounding like that. So he runs there and there's nobody there. And so she's starting to get freaked because she's swearing that I'm also hearing creaks of doors in rooms we're not in. Her husband just, you know, he says, it's not haunted, it's an old house, it makes noises. Those poundings, probably reverberation when a truck goes by or something. So he kind of poo-pooed the whole thing. Well, he was also a teacher, 6th grade, and he had to do a tie-dye t-shirt for a student because they had done a project of tie-dyeing t-shirts, and they were all going to wear them to a field trip, but one student was out sick, and he didn't want her to miss out. So he was down on that ground floor, because that's the best place to work with all kinds of dyes and colors with that ugly cement. You don't have to worry. And he's down there by himself at night, filling the buckets with water, and he just has this feeling that he's being watched, that somebody, to the point where he's like looking over his shoulder. He goes to the stairwell to see if his wife had come down. She hadn't. So he's like trying to pass it off, and it's just getting more and more intense. And as he's tying the t-shirt with the rubber bands and everything, he's just feeling this foreboding and that somebody is watching him, and the hairs on the back of his neck are starting to stand on end, and he is starting to get freaked. And so he hurries with the t-shirt and just throws it on that rickety old table and heads up the stairs. Well, the next morning he's feeling kind of foolish. In the light of day, you know, it's like, that was really stupid. I didn't need to be all bothered. So he waited till it was time to undo the shirt and lay it all out. And so he did the shirt, took all the rubber bands off, and then he opened it up, and there was a monster face in all the swirl. I kind of envisioned it like this. I never got to see the real shirt, but she said he started to believe in the haunted house, and it freaked them out, but the student loved it.